workbook, which took you a while, I want to ask you to think about a couple of things with it. At the very end of the story, Augie, or August, wins an award. And he wins an award because, for bravery, for courage. But I don't know that he changed that much over the story. But other people did seem tired of it. Some people did change. So here's the question that I'm going to ask you to think about. Yes. So who did Augie change in the story and how? Now, he changed various people in various ways. And you have your books in front of you. Turn around, please. You have your books in front of you. And we could list the various characters so we know. We got Mom. We have Dad.
Jackie.
What's his sister's name?
Via.
Olivia. Okay. Now, beyond that, who seemed to be his best friends?
Jacqueline.
Who? Raise your hand. Thank you.
Jack.
Jack. Okay. Anyone else? Yes. Summer.
Jack and Jill.
All right.
Charlotte.
Charlotte. Who else?
Miles.
Miles. Who else?
Everyone in the classroom.
Everyone in the class. So we'll say the class. Okay. Yes.
The two other Maxes.
The two Maxes. I'm going to say the two Maxes. All right. Who else? We have Via's friend Miranda. We have Justin. Who's the one that
Savannah.
if you don't raise your hand, I don't recognize you. Who seems to be his enemy?
Julian.
Thank you for raising your hand. Okay. Who are other important characters? Yes,
Jack and Jill, I guess.
I can't
Jack
hear
and Jill? I don't know, there's some kid named Jill, whatever.
you. Mr. Tushman?
Oh, Julian.
Ms. Garcia?
Oh, Jill. Jack and Jill.
Yes, sir.
His mom and his dad.
We have them.
Right there.
Okay, so of these characters, good. These are. You need to focus. These are most, if not all, of the main characters. Now, some of these characters change, and some don't. Who changes? Does Mom change?
No.
Dad?
No.
Via?
Yeah. A little.
Yeah, Jack.
Okay,
Kind of.
so we'll consider Via. Jack?
Yeah.
Jack changes. Summer?
Yeah.
No.
No,
She's a sweetheart the whole way through. She's very, very nice.
she's a good
Charlotte?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. Miles?
Yeah.
Yes. His whole class, certainly we're going to say that.
Yeah.
How do we know
Yeah.
that his class changes? But it's by use of language.
One of the classmates asked for a pencil without getting disgusted.
Yeah, he loses the, what does he call it?
Plague.
The
plague.
cheese or
The plague.
Alright, so they lose
It's the plague.
the plague, but there's also, what do they call him? What do they call him?
Freak.
At at the beginning.
Monster.
Raise your hand.
Oh.
Yeah.
Freak.
They call him freak at the beginning. What do they call him at the end?
Friend?
Little dude.
Little dude. Okay, so they go from freak to little dude. So when you talk to other people, how you address people is a way of how you see them. And so their view of him changed. All right, the Maxes,
Yeah.
did they change?
Yeah, they did.
Well, no, barely.
They were always kind of nice to him. How about Miranda?
Yeah. No.
Don't call out. You need to raise your hand. How about Miranda? Does she change, really?
No.
No.
Not really. Justin?
Yeah.
Now who's Justin?
Via's boyfriend.
It's Via's boyfriend. Does he really change?
No.
How about Julian?
Psych!
What is Julian's precept at the end of the book? He changed schools, but what was his precept? Look at the back of the book. It's at the very end.
Wait, he will what?
These are the precepts. Right? Back in the book. Yes, ma'am.
Sometimes it's good to start over.
Sometimes it's good to start over. And why would he want to start over?
Because he did bad stuff too.
Because he was a medium, he did bad things. And if you start over, what's that say about you?
They change.
You want to change, that you realize. So Julian changes. How about Mr. Tushman and Ms. Garcia?
No.
No, not
They're
really.
pretty nice the whole time, yes.
What about Henry?
Henry?
Yeah, Henry.
Who is Henry?
Julian's friend, but he ended up changing it.
Does Henry change?
Yeah.
Okay. Alright. Okay. So we have, here's the question. Go back to the question. Who did Augie change and how? So we've identified Via and Jack, Miles, Julian, Henry, and then his whole 5th grade class, certainly. So we know those are the people who he changed. Who did he change? Who did he seem to change the most?
Julian.
Okay, raise your
Stop
hand.
calling her out. Ooh.
Yes, Jack. Why would you say Jack? No. Let him answer. Let him answer.
Because at first he didn't want to hang out with others because of the way he looked. And then,
Yes, you got it.
because at first he didn't want to hang out with others because of the way he looked.
Okay,
But
and can I get somebody to react to that? The phone.
Let me get out.
Continue. Excuse me. Excuse me. Focus, please. So, you think that Jack changed the most? You had a reaction? Jeremiah,
Yeah.
you had a reaction? How do you react to that?
Wait, what do you mean?
You wanted to react to what he said.
He changed because at first he was like making fun of him and stuff, like how he looked. And then, once Julian was like making fun of him and stuff, he ended up changing.
How do you know?
Huh?
How do you know?
Or like the book?
No, you gotta give me an example from the text. What happened
It's
in the story?
like.
Who could help him? Who could help him? What happened in the story? Yes.
Cause back then Jack didn't really want to be Augie's friend because he remembered how he looked back then when he first saw him at the park, but after he hanged out with him, he started to consider her as more of a friend until he ended up saying that he'd rather commit suicide for just looking how Augie looked. But then after he realized that Augie heard that, he he was like saying that he was like sorry for him until Julian was like ends up bullying Augie, so Jack punched him and he just wants to be Augie's friend again.
Okay, so good. What you've cited are two examples. Because Jack saw, very good, Jack saw Augie at the park before the whole story begins. And he didn't want to be around him because of the way he looked. And then Mr. Tushman asked him to befriend him and hang around with him. And he got to know Augie and he became friendly. But he was also influenced by Julian. What do we call that? Peer
Pressure?
pressure, very good. So he wanted to be friends, he wanted to be cool with Julian, but Julian went too far. And Jack stood up for Augie, punched Julian in the nose. Okay? So Jack changes
Close in the mouth.
quite a bit. Okay. Does Jack change more than anybody else?
No.
Who changes more than Jack?
Julian.
Do we have evidence of that?
Cause Julian